Welcome to TWIN, the World Innovation Network. The people in our lives define our quality of life, our options, our access. They also enable or impede our missions, amplify our sense of purpose, add insight to our experience, and hopefully a little bit of fun. What people do you have in your life? How broad is the range of trusted relationships with others whom you admire and respect? Where do they live in the world? What perspectives and backgrounds do they offer? With these questions in mind, I'd like to offer a few thoughts as to why TWIN? Why join TWIN as a member rather than just an observer when there are so many other opportunities and challenges vying for our attentions? For context, though, why the image you see behind me? As delegates to TWIN Global 2019 know, this is a 17th century star map from Holland, a map of the heavens from the David Rumsey Map Collection at Stanford. It represents one vision of the vast cosmos in which we all exist, upon which very human stories are superimposed. I see this star map as a beautiful metaphor for TWIN. Stories of gods and mortals, myths and legends, cautionary tales. With that, back to the question, why TWIN? First, for the best people in the world. We've spent nearly 20 years collecting the most inspiring, meaningful, ethical, good people, truly good people that we can. They just make our lives better. And by the way, we do a lot of fun stuff. But second, consider our zeitgeist, where we are today. We are entering dark times. After years of opening and expansion, many of us in the world live in consolidating contexts. Nativist movements rejecting others, feigning strength due in fact to weakness. Aggressive, defensive, winner-take-all positions predominate. Meanwhile, our institutions, built in many cases over decades, face dangerous declines in public trust, leading to greater uncertainty and in many places a volatile mix of chaos and oppression. Our world needs better ways. Our world needs us. We have a responsibility to move forward with energy and hope. Ralph Waldo Emerson is one of my go-to minds in history. In 1841, he published an essay entitled Circles. The essay opens, "The eye is the first circle. The horizon which it forms is the second. And throughout nature, this primary figure is repeated without end." Reflecting on where we are today, the range of lives available to each of us, our circles, can be far wider than ever before. Until the past few decades, maintaining ongoing relationships overseas proved difficult, often even out of reach. Human proximity, those individuals who happen to be nearby, in most cases defined more than any other factor who were your loved ones and friends, your irritants and enemies, simply being physically at hand. Technology can change that, and the pandemic has accelerated these trends, but it is up to each of us to nourish and evolve the circles most likely to enable our prosperity. Thanks to TWIN, we've had opportunities over the years to meet and build trusted relationships with extraordinary people from all over the world. Many of you. While these introductions can come from anywhere, they don't occur entirely, and they certainly do not grow by accident. As we say in TWIN, never leave serendipity to chance. With TWIN, we're creating new forms of affinity and enrichment, lifelong, real-time education, intellectual, spiritual, visceral, not via the strictures of a cloistered academy, but the dynamics of a global collective, of ethically grounded, purpose-driven individuals perhaps like you. It's not an accident that our Twinians live in over 30 countries and represent all sectors of human activity. Diversity and breadth are essential to build the richest, most fulfilling social capital in the world. Did I say capital? I did. Inventing, creating, achieving requires many forms of capital: financial, intellectual, environmental, spiritual, and of course, social. It is our purpose to build and amplify social capital far beyond what would be possible for any one of us alone. Despite our legions of followers and friends on social media, our club of real compatriots tends to be quite small. But together with shared purpose, values, and some simple rules, we can build and maintain much broader and deeper circles of love and influence. On the fireplace in the backyard of our home in Evanston, Illinois, my wife Ada and I installed a stone plaque engraved with the following Latin phrase: Invenit et perficit. This was the motto of the French Royal Academy of Sciences before the Revolution, and it translates roughly as progress through discovery. I love these words, but I love them for many levels of meaning. Invenit is a cognate of the Latin word invenio, which means both to discover and to invent. Discovery suggests there are things currently beyond our knowledge, independent of us in some way, that would be of value for us to know. Invention applies the creativity we have been gifted by God, or by evolution, or perhaps by both, to manifest our desires in the world. What we discover enhances our understanding of the universe and provides not only intrinsic satisfaction, but also greater instrumental power, the ability to do things, for good or for bad. What we invent manifests the opportunities and threats we have to design and create the futures to which we aspire. As Twinian Brian Collins articulates, design is an act of hope. At Twin, our mission is to create together the world's leading connective for living richer, more successful, more meaningful lives via trusted relationships with great people from around the world, each striving to discover and invent their own better futures. Over the years, Twinians have built affinity and commitment to our connective. They introduce new people to us who exhibit twin characteristics of openness, curiosity, humility despite great success, and most of all, a thoughtful, ethical compass. Our twin sibling organizations, great networks with values complementary to ours, each ply their purposes and in so doing make us all better. We are better together. And we'll need each other. During our present age, humanity embarks on the greatest transformation of the human experience since the Renaissance. Let me say this again. The greatest transformation of the human experience since the Renaissance. The leaders of the early Renaissance did not believe they were inventing a new world. They believed explicitly that they were rediscovering the knowledge of the ancients. All that was worth knowing had been known by the ancient world. Thus, progress was simply a matter of rediscovery and return. What they discovered instead was a far different, far wider universe. From new continents and galaxies to literally the invention of modern science and technology. Today, we face virtual worlds. Virtual reality, augmented reality, all of the realities loom and intensify. But most of us still envision what's possible based upon what's proven, based on existing reality. We wonder how virtual will ever be as good as or simply enough similar to real reality. What we will discover instead are worlds and experiences far different than any simulations of our traditional physics-constrained lives. Experiences nearly unlimited in breadth and diversity, far beyond what any of us can imagine today. This is the space into which Twin aspires to grow. Returning to circles, Emerson proposed the following notion. There is no outside, no enclosing wall, no circumference to us. Men walk as prophecies of the next age. Emerson was refuting a notion at the time that science would soon know all there was to know about the universe. He asserted that no matter how wide our circles might be drawn, we can always invent wider. Only our imaginations limit what circles we can create. With this hopeful note of vital caution, we must always accept and confess with humility that we will never fully control nor wholly understand the universe in which we exist. Fortunately, we each have gifts through these mysteries. When we practice humility and attention, we're likely to discover awe. When we explore and invent, we're more likely to, in the words of Twinian Martin Wazowski, create the futures we desire. And when we express openness and empathy, we have each other. Let us together as Twinians be the women and men who build our circles, who prophesize and create the next stage, who do so with love, with humility, and gratitude for the lives and opportunities we've been given. So why you? Why twin? To quote Twinian Nellie Galan, before you can be chosen, you need to choose yourself first. I hope you'll join us, and as always, to the future.